last time, the Protectors of the Pass left the shores of Cinder and sailed on their way to Seaquen. And we did a bunch of things on boats, mostly sent messages and scried and things of this nature, and had a few conversations. Princess Shalosha sailed with us and did some reconnaissance and got some information to us about what we might find in Isenglaed first, the land of the Terranesti elves, and a sore spot for Myetharia. And I believe we ended on arriving in Seaquen. We touched base with Headmaster Simeon.
And then Three Weeping Ravens discussed his homeland a little bit, which happens to be in the same area, as it turns out. What I'd kind of given everyone as homework going into this session was what people wanted to do in the coming days as Simeon prepares for your teleportation to this area. There were a number of things that were going to take a little bit longer, things like this. But what I just kind of wanted to get started with for everyone was there's a lot of shopping to be done. And I thought it'd be best to just let everybody recap their own shopping, regardless of how long it took them to do, as much as you want to talk about. But I just kind of wanted to let everyone level set as much as you'd like to with each other. So we'll start with the fastest one to have sent me a message, which would be my loving wife over there.
Oh, babe.
Aw.
And I'll let you discuss as much as you would like to the shopping that you have gotten up to in the past couple of days.
I will hold out my hand, and I have a silver ring with a foggy purple stone. The stone is in a regular.
Did you get it at Dave & Buster's?
In a regular shape, not quite oval or a circle. It looks not quite right. Guys, this is my new ring. It's a ring of Misty Step.
Oh.
Isn't it pretty?
It is pretty.
Does it also tell you how you're feeling?
I don't think so.
Oh.
But I got it at a discount.
How'd you do that?
See, Jack, I can do it too.
Yes. How did you manage to pull that off?
She keeps telling me that it was a special ring, and it's unique, and so he sold it to me at a lower price.
I would think that would make it.
There were some other words that there were some other words he threw around: flawed, unstable. But
those are important words. Those are important words.
He wasn't really sure exactly what it would do, but he was like 95% sure that it would cast Misty.
What about the other 5%?
Well, maybe it's a good thing.
Maybe it casts something even cooler, like Fireball or Heal Everybody. I think that's a spell.
I mean, I'm guessing that the discount was because no one's wanting to cast Misty Step when you get burned the fuck out.
That's possible.
Maybe.
Well, I guess we're gonna have a fun evening some night, Winry. We're gonna try the what was it?
Cheese.
Cake? Cheese. Try the cheese and then try the ring afterwards and just see what happens.
I thought I would try the ring
if you guys do that,
in the heat of the moment, or the heat of the battle.
Okay.
See what it does.
That sounds
But I'm
Sounds dangerous.
definitely up for some cheese.
We should try and see who can Misty Step the farthest.
We can, because we're I'm gonna. Here's my new tattoo, and I'll lift up my hair, and on my neck is just a little tiny shooting star with just like fine lines. and
Aw, it's so cute.
I can Misty Step. Stop laughing at me.
No, keep going.
And so I figure it'd be really helpful for the times that like other magic users realize what I'm doing and then they all gang up on me, because I feel like that happens a lot.
Oh, Bryn, that's really cool. Look at my tattoo on the back of my neck. It's a little blue devil.
Put it on the
and
back of your neck.
It says Misty Step.
You're gonna go with the blue devil.
Yeah, I'm going with the blue devil. That when I reach back and touch the tattoo, it puffs into smoke, and then I Misty Step.
Justin, did we all get Misty Step?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Everybody has Misty Step. All right, just for the record, I
None of
didn't
us
get
were
Misty
organized.
Oh,
I love it. I love this so
Y'all,
much.
I
I'm
might
the
have
only
to
one
now.
who wrote it in the feed, and that was the first thing I looked up. So y'all are copying me.
So I will
told-
say,
No, I remember.
yeah,
I remember that.
4 different people asked me to price out Misty Step for them at 4 different occasions, and it was like
That is
Wow.
that. So I really
hilarious.
wanted to lead into that just by pretending that I hadn't done any homework or anything for you guys. But really, I was just waiting for it to come out that everyone had bought Misty Step.
I had asked about Misty Step. That is true.
You did.
Oh
Yep.
Yeah.
my gosh.
The let's see, why did I choose
Just
that?
watching everyone's face as the first person
Yeah.
revealed Misty Step was really great.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, did Becca get one too? Did Myetharia get one?
I'm not saying anything yet. Winry can finish your
Oh.
shopping trip.
That's it.
Say it.
And
We all
then I
got Misty Step.
But-
You're
but-
ruining
but-
the moment. That's
but
the
here's-
only reason why I did it.
It is
But
a cute
here's the
moment.
thing. Here's the thing, though.
You guys all have
we
this
are,
conversation. Yeah.
we are essentially all hanging out at the tattoo parlor. Like we are
Oh, that's
Watching
true.
each other.
like we're all there
No,
hanging
no,
out.
no,
No. We all are like together, and we're all like, okay, I guess we'll split up, do our shopping, and then meet back here. We're all like, cool, and then we all walk the same direction. Like, where are you going?
No, you guys
we're-
went to like a tattoo shop.
Right. They're all little private booths, though, so no one can necessarily see what's
Oh,
happening.
Yeah, we're
That
just
is
like
hilarious.
people are chit chatting. I mean, I'm not chit chatting, but I imagine everybody else is chit chatting. And
Although I will say that we would need to get there at different times, because if we got there at the same time, then Jack would definitely encourage everyone to get the same tattoo as a team. So we'd have to get there at different times.
So Myetharia would go with you guys, but you don't actually see her get a tattoo.
Boo.
I'll say
Ugh.
that.
Myetharia. Ugh.
that's so funny. That's so cute.
Well, Winry,
Yeah, continue.
what else did you get on your journeys?
I'm gonna say that for later.
So let's. Oh, yep, no problem. We'll move on to Steph. You were the next one to respond. Bryn, what did you get on your purchases?
I got that, and then I'll get a Ring of Spell Storing.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Yes. I'll just do the level 2, I believe.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So, and I was just gonna do the Misty Step for one day if you wanted to know cost. So,
Yeah, I'm trusting you guys to monitor your own money. You're big people who can do math every now and then.
okay.
So I will trust you.
So those
So
are
with those,
2 things. That's all.
perfect. Jack, besides your blue devil tattoo, it sounds like any other major
well-
purchases that you'd like to share?
That's all the shopping that I did. I did spend money otherwise. Do you want me to go into that now or go into
We'll
that
get
later?
into that in just a minute. I wasn't sure
That's
if you had anything else that you bought.
I did not.
Myetharia.
And for the record, I'm
sorry.
getting the 3 casting a day one, not the 5.
I only got the 1.
Well, good for you.
People can choose different prices, turns out, and get different amounts.
If you would have gotten the 3, then he would have recommended you get the devil tattoo.
Yeah, because I really had a big hand in deciding what people made their tattoos to look like.
Yeah, I didn't want the blue devil. Justin made me.
It was forced. Myetharia.
So I will say that when she does go to the tattoo parlor with you guys, she will actually renew the knew the fire tattoo on her chest that you guys do know about, that she spent one use, and what you guys will see, since she'll show you guys now. You said they are like separate rooms, but you guys probably see it at some point. Over the top of her chest, there are like 6 like individual flames, but they're kind of just this flame, that one general flame across her chest. But one of them looks a little bit duller than the rest, and she'll have that one renewed. And then you guys will also see, like the second day, you'll see her show up, and she has a glove on her hand, on her left hand, and new boots. So she got boots of elven kind, so I can be even stealthier than I already am. And what?
Attempt to be.
Attempt to be. Well, I'll have advantage on stealth checks, so I mean, my dice can choose to roll poorly 2 times in a row.
That's right. You've doubled your amount of bad rolls.
And she'll also show up. You guys won't see the short bow anymore. She will finally sell Jack's old short bow, begrudgingly, because little sentimentality there. But she will come back with a longbow instead. And when you bring up the conversation in the middle of the week about Misty Step, and everybody's like, "Oh, you too? Me too? What the heck?" Myetharia will just explain, "My love is a love of Misty Step. This is quite an odd coincidence that you'll simultaneously decided for different reasons to get Misty Step. But
well, it's a very powerful and useful spell.
Very powerful. I mean, there have been multiple times where I've wanted to be closer to an enemy or farther away, and this will do the trick. Who cares about a little fire damage? We've taken plenty in the past.
I definitely want to get closer always to enemies. That's not true.
Thank you for correcting yourself there. I would have been very confused. Yeah, I think that's all you guys will know about for now.
So for your glove of Misty Step, do you like point, like finger guns it to where you want to go? Is that the?
I was thinking she'd snap her hand like that.
Yeah, it'd be more like a snap.
Snap and a glove.
It's a very dull snap. It's like.
It's a leather glove. Just a black.
She figures out she
leather
can't
with, like,
snap, so she has to start doing like this to make it happen.
Gotta make some noise with it.
Either that or just like drawing like a circle in the air, but probably leaning more towards a snap. Yeah.
Oh, like a
Doctor Strange.
The movies, yeah.
Yeah.
Where they make like a portal. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah. Basically it.
Okay.
That means I emptied my
I
hard
was
drive.
trying to take a look for Steph at something. See if I can.
Oh, it's no rush.
Mine is also 1 charge a day for those because everybody knows that it's 1 charge or 3 charge, because that's what Justin was offering, unless he was offering something else to everybody else.
There was a 5 option technically, but
Oh gosh, I would have spent all my money on.
I might have to modify that for you, Steph.
I think you vaguely knew my price range, so I don't think you were gonna offer the 5.
I figured it out.
5 charge.
Don't do it now though, Justin. It's gonna be technical.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it later.
I'll just keep track of it.
What's your 6th level spell slot in here, or spell scroll in here?
The not Hero's Feast.
Heal or whatever. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Whatever we got from the.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got distracted. Ryan, looks like you're back at just the right time. Would you like to go over Rev's purchases?
Sure, yeah. So, as you all know, Rev also joined you in the tattoo parlor. Got himself a booth and just kind of quietly took a seat, and the guy got to work on. It looks like he's working on his leg, on his calf muscle. It's unfortunate. I was trying to remember what Raylan or Rev wears. Sorry, I'm looking. I need to change the title. The PNG title is Raylan, so I like. But yeah, I have to look at what Rev wears on his pants. He wears like trousers, I guess, with little shin guards over his. So yeah, it takes the shin guards off. It's unfortunate that you guys won't be able to see the tattoo in combat because I have this like elaborate thing that it does. So I'll demonstrate it to you. I'll like
pants off every time.
We're like, Rev, you know you could have gotten that put anywhere you want.
I'll start wearing. No, it's gonna make sense when I demonstrate.
Capris
Wearing
from
shorts.
now on.
But I'm gonna start wearing
Capris.
capris. I'm gonna wear hot pants.
Oh boy.
Hot pants with shin guards. I like to picture Rev having like a little like Flanders
Volleyball.
tush. You know.
Oh yeah,
Oh my
Madonna.
wiggle a little bit. Does it go
Little
like? I feel like you should move it up from your lower calf and like on your lower thigh. Then it
Lower
kinda runs.
thigh.
Ooh. Wow.
All right, we're gonna keep
Lower
it on-
thigh. Thank you.
We're gonna keep it on the calf because it's gonna make sense in a minute. So
Yeah.
it looks like what you would put a racehorse in. Like if you can imagine like a gate, and so the 3-dimensional thing, and there are 2 gates, right? And if you guys are like, show us your new tattoo, I'd be like, all right, okay. And he'll sort of like stomp the ground a little bit, and the gate will flip open, and I'm just gonna say chocobo. I'm sure they're like striders or something, but a chocobo. Yeah, axbeak or whatever. It just starts like running around his calf and like runs around his shin and runs around his calf like it's on a track. It just like goes. And you can see that like Rev is making little like motions to like keep the leg moving, like it's headed like if you can imagine a marble going around a track, right? He's like trying to keep this bird going around his leg. And as he's doing this, you can kind of see him or you see me like how does it look for you guys? Because he's got to do something. You want to see me? He's gonna say, actually, you know what he's gonna do? You want to see me run to that rock and back?
Yes.
Sure.
You like
wanna see
after?
You want to see me do it? You want to see me do it? You want to see me do it again?
Oh.
There's like a trail of dust.
You want to see me do it again?
Use the flash.
Just kidding. That was a SpongeBob reference. So he runs like faster than you've ever seen him run before. Like he just is beep beep. And it's like as long as I keep this little guy running around my calf, I can run faster and do a couple more things. I feel a little more springy. Yeah, this is. I forgot what the guy called it in the tattoo parlor. I was really just asking for a cool bird tattoo, but he gave me this guy. So yeah, and when I stop, and I'm gonna stop my leg, the bird's gonna like kind of slow down, and then just kind of like start walking, and like aimlessly walking around, like looking and like pecking and stuff at the ground, you know, and then it's gonna like eventually meander back to the gate and close. The gate's gonna close behind it.
That's funny. I love it.
Goodness.
Rev, I have an
I'm jealous. I
important
wish I could run
question.
that
There's
fast.
2 gates. There are 2 gates. So essentially 2 charges.
The in and the out.
I like how
Does
you included
he
in the
have a
description.
name?
You're like, I told the tattoo artist to give me a cool bird, and he gave you a chocobo.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
a cool bird.
I mean, I do like it. I like the bird, you know.
It's a cute bird.
Yeah, it runs real fast. Kind of cool.
What were you
And,
saying, Cassie? Sorry.
Yeah, what were you saying?
Does he have a name?
The bird? I hadn't thought of
Yeah,
name
the
yet.
bird.
Do you want to name him?
Are you sure you
Yes.
give her that power?
But I actually do
Can I
like.
have a day?
I name all my weapons,
Ooh.
so I feel like I should give him a name.
Ooh, Winry, you should
What do
name
you?
him
Wait a
something
second.
crazy
What,
like Archibald.
you name all your weapons?
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
name your rapier?
Well, it is a magical weapon. I feel I haven't really. Well, I've named it Grindel.
Grindel? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is there
What
like
about-
a halfling meaning behind that or something?
Yeah, I mean it's
I
just
know from him.
From a story.
it's just from a story.
What about your short sword?
Short sword. Give me a second. I can look it up.
This is the reason we're gonna take
Okay.
the entire session.
Moving on. Did you buy anything else, Ryan?
I know my crossbow was named Barracks, and my new crossbow is named Wolfhound.
Yep.
Let's see.
crossbow.
Grindel. Did I not name my old?
I feel like you got rid of your old weapon. It
Oh,
seems to be-
What did you call it? You said the crossbow is what? Barrett?
Yeah. I called it Cadillac.
oh,
That's
there
awesome.
it is. Yeah. That's your old rapier.
Oh, my old rapier. Okay. Did I not name my own sword?
I don't
Maybe
see
not.
your old.
Yeah, I might not have it
sword.
anymore. But it,
What
it
did you say
have
the name of the crossbow
it-
was? Did you say it was
it did-
Barrett
it did-
or Barrett?
Barracks. Play the IX.
Barracks.
I'm gonna name my new. I'm gonna name my old sword, and it's gonna be called Lancaster. That's the name of it.
First name Bert?
Burt Lancaster. I don't. Who is that?
He's an actor.
Oh.
Anyway,
Oh. Yep. A very old actor
Wow, that's a white throw. That's a big throwback.
in the
Mhm.
50s and 60s. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think he was in Streetcar Named Desire.
that's cool. I mean, it's cool. That's a cool guy to remember. I like it. So Lancaster is, but I don't have the sword anymore. The birds. We're gonna name the bird.
You think about it. While
it's gonna be the bird's name is gonna be Hurst, and the second is gonna be named Twig.
First
First.
and Twig.
Hurst and Twig.
I'm gonna make you call them by name for which one you invoke at any given time.
All right, I will probably have to. I'm gonna have to make some notes here because. All right,
I'm not gonna
Hurst,
make you call them by
That's
name, but I think
amazing.
it'd be funny if you did.
Hurst and Twig. All right.
Burt Lancaster was in an old film noir that we watched once for class called
Oh,
The Killers.
Oh, the Killers was
remember
good.
what
I do remember the Killers. That's a good one.
Before we get
remember it now.
overly sidetracked, having gone through everybody's items at this point, I'll just kind of give a brief.
There was one other thing I bought.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not done.
Oh wait.
So as you know, I don't wear shoes. However,
Oh, right.
there are like some wraps that you can see around his like upper ankle, like high ankle and low ankle, and those wraps you notice have runes on them now. Like so, he has shin guards, and the wraps are just kind of like you can see them just underneath the shin guards, right? And you know what? I am gonna start wearing capris. So my calves are exposed, and I have shin guards on them, and then the shin guards kind of like wrap around the bottom of my feet. But you can see my hairy old toes and stuff. But there's also these wraps that have runes on them. Essentially, they're just boots of speed.
Please tell me that Bryn is going to turn out to be Lily from How I Met. Start staring at his calf.
Calves?
No one knew this
Oh, I
reference.
mentioned
Okay,
that.
never mind.
No one
Well,
watched.
so I
haven't watched that
binge
yet.
watched it with Bert. Yeah, when I had Bert, but that was 7 years ago.
Wait,
Like,
says
binge
one-
watch.
Go ahead.
There's one very episode where it came up a lot, where he wore zip-off pants, where Marshall wore zip-off
Oh
pants,
yeah.
and he had to unleash his calves to get
Just
his
to-
way once.
Drive her crazy.
Yes, I'm unleashing the calves.
Sorry.
As we're calling out our references, the Blue Devil was supposed to be Nightcrawler.
Oh.
Oh, that makes sense.
The reason that I didn't go
Okay.
further into it was because I was like, wait, is Nightcrawler purple?
Nice blue. Yeah.
Oh, blue is correct. You got it. So there's a lot of people that wanted to check in on various people or to follow up on people. And so I think that what we'll do next is we'll kind of quickly go through. I guess we'll just follow the same order. People that we wanted to follow through on or to check in on, this sort of thing. So we'll start Winry.
I wanted to check in on the dragon and see if her egg hatched.
There was a couple of people that wanted to go visit the dragon out in the swamp outside of town. And I don't remember if I'd said it before, but her name was Nazalasa. There we go, I got it out. The green dragon out in the swamplands has been happily roosting with her eggs. And lo and behold, the eggs have hatched. And there are little baby dragons that are mewing from the swamp nest by the time that you make it out there to go visit. They have yet to learn to fly, but it shouldn't be long before they're hunting small animals themselves for food.
And then
if you want
the countryside.
If you wanted to talk to her a little bit, she'll make mention that she knows that she can't stay forever so close to Seaquen because of said burnination of the countryside. But she is having a hard time leaving her home despite the growing population nearby. I know Jack and Winry both mentioned wanting to go out and check in on the dragon, so if either of you would like to talk with her anymore, now's your
I
chance.
would. I'm going to pull out the lyre of fabrication that the dragon gave me, and I'm going to say, I've gotten a lot of use out of this, and thank you very much for giving it to me, but I think it should go to someone else who could get more use out of it than I can. Would that be okay with you, since it was a gift that you gave me?
A gift is a freely given thing. It is not one for me to arbiter from here on.
It still felt weird, so I guess you're cool with it?
You have no problem from me.
Maybe you should find someone else to give it to, Jack.
Yeah, I have someone in mind.
She kind of,
I'll just let her know it's good to see her, and that I'm glad that the baby dragons are okay.
She kind of noses one of the little babies next to her, kind of noses it towards Winry for a moment. It says, "This is little Sothrer.
Is this the one that we had?
This is the one that your lyre paid for."
Aww.
They hold it?
It kind of like, I don't know, I called it mewing before, but they make kind of these like baby falcon noises, sort of. They sound kind of terrifying mixed with cute at the same time. I don't know how to describe it to you.
You just do it.
But it kind of, she kind of nudges it towards you as you ask.
He'll pick it up.
It kind of roosts in your hands a little bit, kind of spins in a circle like a little kitten, curls up in your palm.
Oh, Jack, do you think Puck would like to meet a baby dragon? They're like the same size.
Oh, summon Puck. Puck, look, it's a baby dragon. Don't eat it, please.
I think it worked the other way around. This thing,
Wow,
while it's in her
I don't know how
hands,
big they
is
are.
like full hit. Like it's like Milo size, like full size cat right now.
Okay.
Roughly.
Yeah, we'll probably eat. If it looks hungrily at Puck, I'll just be like, oh, shoot! Poof, make him disappear.
Yeah, it kind of looks up questioningly for a brief moment, but it has already curled up into a ball basically in her hands, having been nudged towards you by its mother.
I'll give it a cuddle and put it back in its nest.
Ryan, I think you've got a future in live streaming this. Just like every day you let like 5 flies in there and just live stream you trying to swat them with different
I
objects.
keep missing it.
Honestly, it would it would be the kind of freak behavior that would sell well on Twitch. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
Fly hunter.
Oh,
Twitchers,
yeah.
Extraordinaire.
TikTok.
There's a whole channel devoted to watching ducks. Of course, people would pay to watch a guy swat flies.
I'll set up some sort of ASMR there. It's like,
I was gonna say, what'll be fun about it
You
is
need
how
to
many
hear
people
the
sexualize
flaps
it.
for sure, yeah.
all right. Anyway, sorry everybody.
That's all I wanted from the dragon, just to check in. See if she's okay.
She is, though there is a little bit of growing concern, like I said, that you may need to find a new home soon, with the size of Seaquen burgeoning and her young growing.
Out of curiosity, what would you be looking for in a home?
Marsh is perfect for my kind. Being able to have both water and air to hunt in. Require a little more distance, a little more security for my young. There's too many around, both for them to get in trouble with and for others to trouble them.
Well, while the forest is kind of in its infancy, there was a swamp in the Anetadar forest. Maybe you could set up there and be able to let your family grow while it grows. It's where I killed Gwenbeer. Was in a little swamp.
Sure.
Kind of seared into my memory, you know.
There were also some ruins on the north end of the swamp, right?
Oh, that's true. Yep.
Our ruins.
Mm-hmm.
She might have to fight off. She might have to fight off some trolls, but I don't think that'll be too hard for her.
Oh, those ruins. Yeah.
I'm
Not
not,
that
sure
I
which
was-
ruins
not-
you're talking about.
Not
but
that I'm visiting this dragon because
she does.
Also,
She
got
considers
other
it.
stuff,
different ruins. Different
Yeah,
ruins,
I
I
think
think.
they're thinking of two different places. But she considers it. We'll consider this option once my children are flying. Until then, it will be too difficult for me to move there, but once they are on their own and moving, perhaps that is a good place to go. Anything else for Nizalasa?
Nope.
Okay. Winry, anyone else that you'd like to check in on?
Nope.
Perfect. Bryn.
As we leave Simeon's office, I'll run to catch up with 3 weeping ravens. To show him the soulstone that I believe that I have found.
Yeah, you do have one remaining after expending one of them in the sleigh to get out. So with the one remaining that you show to him, kind of looks at it distantly, but almost seems to be like holding his hand back, like he's not sure that he wants to reach for it or touch it or anything like this. This is. Where did you find this?
Up your butt. Sorry.
In Castle Corstal. It was in, I'm assuming now, Coltung's treasury. We had another one, but I didn't know what it was. And there was, how we escaped was this sleigh, and it had a hole in the front. And Rev asked for it, and I threw it to him. But then once I realized what it was, I felt bad.
There are such things, such treasures in this world. Soul-powered machinery. Soul-powered art.
Is that... Because I know you mentioned before that generally if someone's soul is like this, it's usually willingly, so are those
Usually.
soul power...
Not always, and this is only for our order. We may not be the only ones who have utilized this, given its ability to Our machinery. This was never something of our order.
Oh, so the machinery is new. Not
No,
new,
it's
but
not
nothing
from us.
that you used. That was actually going to be my question.
What we used the gems for was to tap into memories or powers that they possessed. Or abilities, perhaps a better way of saying it, powers. This way was non-destructive, but also significantly less potent. There are ways in which the power of the gem can be harvested in a more aggressive format and burned away.
I thought you said so, that's why I was confused that it wasn't there anymore.
Well,
But how you...
the most infamous artifact to use this power is the Torch of the Burning Sky itself. This was a soul-powered artifact itself.
Oh. So that would make sense why he had some then.
Ooh, suddenly the torch is way more sinister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
May I? And he kind of reaches out to touch the gem.
Yeah.
And he takes a moment to just kind of like connect with it. Says, this particular gem holds the soul of a aged, loyal Regessian. Offered his soul, it seems, when he was near death. So, for your part at least, it was willingly given.
Okay. And so, I guess this shows then that the Regessians have soul tapping.
I knew that there was an artifact that did it. I did not realize it was more widespread than that.
Like an artifact that creates these gems?
Well, there is an artifact that creates these gems, yes. Though, again, not the way that we did this. What you speak of is sinister, is what we consider at least evil. To rip the soul from another for use and harvest it. What we did was, at least in our minds, different. Was freely given. Was to be used for the common good. But I guess it's all a matter of perspective.
But you say with yours that the soul isn't gone completely. You're able to tap into it and then
Correct.
it's still there. Does it ever run out? Like the more you tap into it?
Not unless you overtax it. What they are effectively doing is spending all of its power in one burst,
And you're
instead
saying-
of diverting a sustainable flow.
And you're saying they, as in the Regessians.
Well, the torch, yeah. So other things that apparently there's more now that use these souls for almost currency.
Okay. Well, that does make me feel better, I guess. Is there... So if the soul is harvested this way, then I'm holding up this gem, there's not necessarily a power that can be tapped into only if this person had power. Like the way the Regessians are doing it, it's just a soul.
Sort of. I could take that gem and tap any abilities that it had from it. Yes.
Are there gems like made this way then that could potentially not have any abilities? Like it's strictly just a soul to power one of these machines?
It depends on what the bearer of the soul originally was capable of. The soul has no power beyond, like, by harvesting it, so to speak, there's no power gain. It can only provide what it has. So you can never tap a soul for more than it had in life.
Would you be able to tell me if this has any other power besides just fueling a machine? Would that be something that you want to do? I don't know if that's...
Yeah, he kind of considers it for a moment, and he says, I would be loath to teach such things to outsiders at this time. I can say that it is not... This person is not worthless, but that does not mean that they necessarily have any power that is useful, or any ability that is useful to you right now. Say they were an inquisitor, and they have the gift of mighty wisdom. May not be of use to you, being also a cleric.
And I wasn't implying that I could tap it. I guess more to know. I mean, maybe eventually. I don't know. It's not something I can think about right now.
I understand. Yes. The soul could have power that could be useful in theory. I will say that.
Well, thank you, Three Weeping Ravens. I know this is not from your people, but it still represents you, and I want to treat it with the respect that it's due.
Thank you. I would be careful discussing this around the others. They are not quite as open to such discussions as I am.
Okay.
Would hate to
I'm
upset
sorry if
them
I've made
further.
you uncomfortable.
No. I brought it up myself.
Thank you.
Anyone else that you would like to talk to, or are you all set?
I'll send a message to Keth.
Okay.
How far out is he, and how many people is he with?
He's traveling with a small group of about 10 to 15 people. And they are... Let me open up the Dasin map a minute. A rough approximation for you. They're heading down the Prince's Way, so they're probably somewhere passing Iz's land into Naman's at this point in time, kind of on the south side of the mountain range there. Getting close to the Megadon ball sack that you guys love to reference.
Not you guys.
So around this region on the map, if you can see the pings.
Yeah. I'll ask him if he wants me to come in. I can come and get him, or if he wants to stay. With how long of a travel would that be for me flying?
You could certainly do it if you wanted to flying, even if it took you a day each direction. But the answer you get back would be, we'll be there in like a week or so. I would rather stay with those that I'm traveling with. Keep them safe and okay with you.
Okay. I just might not be here. We're kind of directed by forces greater than us.
I am used to it.
Cool.
Sure, you'll be back.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean, yo.
It's your son.
What the?
telling you he's telling you have to live. That's what he's telling you.
All right. I think that was all. Let me see what I messaged you.
Well, we'll move to Myetharia.
Mine is pretty simple. Torrent was in the meeting with us. I just wanted to check in with her afterwards to see just how she's doing, what she's up to since we were last year.
Mm-hmm.
She's doing Torrent, mentally since losing Lee.
So Torrent
I won't say that directly. I'll just observe it.
Yep. So Torrent is around town these days. She was on a shorter mission initially, but after she came back, she's been spending her time kind of gearing up the soldiers and training them to the best of her abilities. While she is not the top tier, so to speak, she is something of a squad leader among the group that's assembled so far. The militia army, whatever you're going to call it, is led by General Xavius, which I don't remember if anyone had bothered to write down previously, but you guys did meet with him in the past. Though she, like I said, she's something like a lieutenant or a sergeant, something of this nature, drill instructor, whatever you want to call her, where she's doing her best to kind of get equipment together and do training, the people that want to train.
Where does she? Because Kieran Steckert is I thought he was the. Oh no, he's the school battle mage or whatever.
Yes. Yep. He's more like Simeon's bodyguard in a way.
Oh, okay.
But yes, he is the battle mage of the school as well.
All right. I'll just that's good to hear that she's keeping busy, and I'll just tell her, I'll just give her some encouraging words, and I give her a hug and keep going, I guess, unless she has anything specific to say, which I don't think she does, but
no, I don't think so. I think you've covered
and then
it.
I'll let the rest of the group know that I'm gonna go see Kristen, just to check in with her as well, see how she's doing. And we're in the area. It feels weird if we don't check in with our NPCs. See how they're doing.
Jack had mentioned to go see Kristen as well.
Okay.
So the two of you can meet up. Kristen continuing her work towards unity among the various factions. She has, almost by accident, carved out a pretty important place for herself amongst these groups. The road ahead, long and difficult, but they are working together towards it now. It'll take more time to be truly unified in purpose and all, but with the temple made, thanks to a certain friend, and the seemingly endless flow of refugees to care for, her days are very busy and her plate very full.
Does Tilgen work there too?
Tilgen does not work there. Tilgen is a wayfinder as her main occupation, though she did, of course, very famously take that scouting mission out to Ragos.
Are the wayfinders still in Seaquen?
Yes.
Wow. Well, yeah. They
Partly
can all
because
teleport out of there or anything.
Right, so partly because they have to be in some regards, because the ship is not really a sailing ship at all. So they could, in theory, move it, but the other half of this is there is kind of a war going on too. There's not as much opportunity to just show up anywhere you want and put on a play.
It's a safe place for them to be right now. It's a safe haven.
Last, they are actually trying to help out with the resistance to some degree, where they are providing teleportation, for instance, when possible. Kind of all of those combined.
I think the one thing I would casually ask, just because we've seen, how this has gone in the past, but just casually asking Kristen about any new prophecies, if her visions have decreased, very sensitively asking, not just oh hey, any new visions, anything like that. No, it's
right.
just
so she would tell you that she still periodically does see things, but they have not been relating to you guys at all. and so
Good.
maybe it's the lesser proximity. Maybe
Makes
it's
sense.
something different, but there have
She
not
can no
been
longer
anything
see
that she needs to bring up to you guys.
Yeah. Alright. I don't know if
Well, I
Jack wanted
will-
to add anything, but that's all I wanted to. I just want to check in and see how she's doing.
Yeah, during the conversation, I'll kind of say, first of all, it's really good to see you, Kristen. And you seem to be doing well, even though you're busy.
And warm greetings to you as well.
Oh, damn, you're right. Shit. Call me on it.
Wow.
She kind of chuckles to
beautiful.
herself.
I apologize. I'll do better next time. I reach back and I'll tap the devil and I'll Misty Step 30 feet away, and then I'll tap it again and Misty Step back and go, very warm greetings, Kristen. It's good to see you.
You take 7 points of fire damage. You don't have to mark that.
I know that you worked really close with Laura Beck in trying to help the refugees, and I'll pull out the lyre of fabrication and I'll say, I thought I would have a lot of use for this on our adventures, but I've only used it maybe once or twice, but it's gotten the most use here in helping put up buildings for the refugees and the other new folks. And it seems to have done a lot of good here, and it feels weird to take it away again. So, do you know how to play a lyre?
I personally don't, but I am sure that I can find someone who can. There are countless refugees who could utilize or have use for home this could provide.
Yeah, I figured it would be really helpful to you. If you would like, you could take it to Gilver Fern, who is a professor at the Lyceum.
That's a great
He probably
idea.
knows how to play a lyre and can
I'm
probably
sure.
teach you. I just think that you're doing a lot to continue the memory of Lorbeck and her legacy, and I think this will go a really long way to helping with that. I think you'll get a lot more use out of it than me.
Kind of takes it reverently as you hand it over, kind of holding it gently in her hand. Just, thank you. You don't. I did not do that. You need to not. You need to know how much this will help. How many will be affected by this. We truly appreciate it.
Well, I'm glad to hear it'll be used well. Thank you for everything that you do. And now I'm going to take the Lyre of Fabrication out of my inventory.
Ooh.
I'm very sad. Been there a long time.
Kind of sad because now I'm thinking of all the ways we could have used it in Corstal.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It takes too long to... It takes a while to use. It takes 10 minutes to play, at least, so...
Mm-hmm. Well, Myetharia, anything else that you would like to check in on?
I don't think so. I think I'm good.
Okay. We'll go to Rev. Do you have anything that you would like to check in on, Rev?
I'll probably have some fun at the Royal. Yeah,
Well,
you guys go in and check on these NPCs. I'm gonna play some darts and get drunk.
I mean, I'll join you in the evenings, but I mean...
Well, yeah, I mean, most of the day is spent at the tattoo parlor. These are really tricky tattoos.
Very tricky, yeah.
I mean, I'll go with you because I just messaged my son again. So I'm sitting like I'm on the phone while you're playing darts.
I want to also add in that, like, it's not like an electric, like, needle, like, tattoo. It's the one where it's like the claw and they like tap it into our skin. I feel like we were there for a long time and it was a bonding experience.
So I gave the estimate of it's 1 day's work, so to speak, like 8 hours of work for every 1,000 gold the tattoo cost.
Oh yeah.
Which I mean, absolutely makes sense. Like tattoos take a long time to do.
I'm
Good
honestly
ones, anyway.
shocked you're letting us get these in as little time as we have to get them.
I will say this is not entirely my decision, but yeah, and it's a substitute for an item, right? It's not. I'm not meaning to do this as a punishment for you guys to make things take longer.
No, of course not. Also, it's good to remember that we don't have a ton of free time. Like we are also like kind of writhing in pain.
I can also imagine there's like a level of payment where like once you hit this amount, then you have like 2 people working on you, and once you hit this amount, you got 3 people. It's agonizing, but you can get it done faster.
Well, the way that it's described for your information in the adventures is it takes 1 hour for every 100 gold, is what they said. I kind of rounded that to be easier to day for 1,000, and paid per day for every 8 hours of work, they say here. But I kind of rounded things, made it 10-hour days, called it good enough.
Well, that's that's that discount Rob's talking about, where they call
exactly. Yeah, you get a little bit of a discount by getting big jobs like this. The only things that I can mention about the Royale for you, the first one is Errol has returned. He took his trip back as well, as he was working his way around. It took you guys a long time on the boat after all. And for the most part, Errol is staying away from the adventuring business and is seeking to learn just a regular trade job at this point in time.
Barkeep?
Maybe barkeep. He isn't sure yet what he's going to do. But the
he's
biggest
going to start
upshot,
as a busboy and work his way up.
Yeah, right. The biggest upshot is he's done with this adventuring game. He wants to settle down and find a more sustainable life. The other thing that I can mention for you, Rev, every now and then, maybe one night a week, you could actually catch up with Tommen, who would come to the Royale and seek out people. He has stepped up into the role of harbor master for Seaquen, taking Lee's old job. But with the storm having destroyed many of the ships, his job these days is more about dredging the bay and removing wreckage than it is about managing the comings and goings of ships. He works with Seaquen, kind of clearing things up with the mages. He gets some of the mages in training to come out and like part of their work, so to speak. Their class work is actually field work and trying to clear out the harbor, out the bay a little bit. But a lot of it is still done manually. So he could grouse a little bit about the work that he's having to do or things like this. And if mentioned that you needed to go somewhere in the future, he said, well, I could have gotten a ship for you probably if you gave me a few days, but sounds like you got a better deal with Simeon anyway.
I guess it depends on what you think the better deal is. I mean, we are going to be burnt to a crisp.
You are, but you'll get there like a week and a half, 2 weeks earlier.
Yeah. Barely alive. Smoking. Writhing.
Feels like the only way anyone likes you.
Yeah, I guess that at this point, right?
Maybe it'll make it smell better. So that you can feel a little
hey,
tip of the drink. But beyond that, that's really the only things of interest that I had for NPCs around the Royale for you to kind of interact with. Fun.
Is Boudrox there?
I don't think that they're back, right?
No, I wouldn't think they're back. That's a long trip.
Yeah, they're still out and about.
It's a long trip that they'd have to make back in secrecy.
Oh wait, sorry, Boudrox. Sorry, I was thinking of the wrong person.
Okay.
No, with Tilgen being back also, that group would have come back.
Okay.
So whether you want to interact with Boudrox on your own time, you can feel free to do so.
You don't want me to do the voice right now?
He just really wants to play two characters. He just really wants to play two characters.
I'm just curious
with
with
each other.
Boudrox. I mean, I don't know Boudrox, so I'm not gonna like go talk to him anyway.
Legitimately, I considered having the couple of characters you guys made be meaningful in this part, but then I decided that if they're going to be, I was going to save them for longer. So we'll see if they come back up in the future.
Yeah, fair enough.
I also feel like if Rev is in a bar and Boudrox come in,
Rev leaves.
Rev would be like, "Oh, this fucking guy."
Yeah. Rev definitely doesn't want to talk to him. No, for sure. He wants to talk. He wants to talk to whoever is gonna like beat him at darts. And I don't think Boudrox doesn't have the coordination for darts. I think.
Yeah, probably
He's
not.
too. He's
Probably
got
have his alligator eat you instead when he lost.
Yeah, and I'm not into the alligator. So.
Well, last but certainly not least, Jack. I know you've got some things to go get through.
Well, I don't know how much I should do at this moment if there's other stuff people are going to do, but I'll start with I want to stop by the swamp and see Hesselin and Ogatar.
Yep.
The goblins, and just make sure they're getting a fair shake. I don't really want to roll.
Nope, that's fine. They're happy with their cook and with the agreement.
Fat
and
and happy.
Yeah, exactly.
They ate the cook.
Very good cook.
What you can notice is that they have a few items that make it
What was you supposed to
clear
do with them?
that they've been trading at the markets in the South Shore of Seaquen. They even appear just a little bit more civilized than they used to, though still kind of uncomfortable. There's one goblin that you kind of make note of who is walking around with a monocle in, and he's carrying around like a teacup as though he's trying to be snobby and fancy, and he like kind of uses weird words that he's trying to fit in, but they don't actually make sense in the sentence, kind of thing.
And the monocle throws off his depth perception, so he keeps bumping into things and like tripping and shit.
That's my next one-shot character.
Yeah. But he's certainly trying to get fancy and to fit in, even though he's probably making things worse for himself.
That's funny. And I don't want to spend time on it because I got a lot of other things. But if Tilgen's in town, I gotta stop and check in with my girl. How's old Til? I was gonna come up with a pet name, but I can't do it. Tilgen.
Well, the biggest thing Tilgen can tell you would be what you know from the one shot. That there is definitely a schism in Ragos between the general populace, so to speak, using it with the standard military, and the Inquisitor power base. It's not to the point of insurrection or anything like this, but there is certainly a difference in opinions out there.
Well, I'll let her know that I'm really proud of her for going on such a dangerous adventure, and Etanifi and shit, I can't remember the leader's name.
Popovin.
Does anyone remember what the leader's name was? Well, anyway, the leader. Yeah,
Popovin.
that's it. I say that I'm sure they would be proud of her, and that's about it.
She'd blush.
I make sure. Yep. I make sure Winry's not around for when I have that conversation.
Literally had in my notes, and perhaps flirt with Jack a bit just to see for a reaction from Winry. Decided to kind of skip past that a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, are you saying you're going to start stuff?
I considered
Your
it.
husband's stirring the pot.
Justin's getting jealous about your relationship with Rob.
That's it.
He wants to
end
end
it.
it.
Justin
No, I
said
just wanted
that
to
he
have
went
some fun
from
with it.
a relationship with every single one of us to none.
All right.
That's
We'll
true.
see. There's still time.
He
There's
bitched about
still
it enough.
time.
So, the biggest thing I want to do is I'm going to go to Simeon and I'm going to ask him for some students who have some free time. And I'm going to hire as many of them as are available to delve into the libraries and do all kinds of research to learn everything they can about the Storm Chaser Eagle, the Storm Seeker Eagle, or the eagle that's in the storm, or any other variation of that. I also want them to look into the Aquiline Heart and find just any information regarding them whatsoever. And I want them just like going bananas in the library.
So I offered to Jack the opportunity to hire researchers over this time frame, basically. Gave him a price per day, per person, this sort of thing. And so for the 4 or 5 days that you are around in Seaquen, if you wanted to, for 5 days, he has like a group of 3 that he would be considering to be worthwhile in terms of researchers that are not needed for other tasks necessarily. They're still trying to finish up like their dissertation, so to speak, that would be able to spend some time investigating this as much as possible. So you had talked about throwing some money at it. I don't remember if you ended up.
You said it was going to be like 50 gold a day per student. So I was like, for all the time that you're here, or all the time that we're here, as many students as I can get, I'll pay them.
So I have a few things for you. For by the end of the time, what kind of gets uncovered. The first thing that comes up, and probably the most obvious for you, is of course the main myth of the Aquiline Heart. It's still unknown whether this story is rooted in truth or not. If it was assumed to be true, it would mean that the Storm Chaser's heart was removed, of course. It could mean that the spirit would be separate from the body now, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it is for sure. They kind of come back with this as a hypothesis based on what you had talked about with Simeon at the time, with it potentially being Parallax being a piece of it. Basically, they come back with the legend. Basically, seems to indicate that this could be a possibility. The story. The story is a legend, of course. It's kind of a symbol. The heart is a symbol for the unattainable in the current day. But in the past, it was believed, and many in what is now Regesia sought it out unsuccessfully.
Okay.
It meaning the heart, the Aquiline heart. The last thing that they want to make sure that you realize, or that's impressed upon you, is that the Aquiline heart and the Stormchaser Eagle are connected in mythos, of course. That heart is the eagle's heart that was taken. The next day or so goes by, and they come up with an obscure children's verse that seems to reference things that really hadn't been talked about or hadn't been known before, or at least hadn't been connected before. And so I'm going to post it and I'm going to read it. The eagle's heart is power. It beats forever strong. And if you were to drink its blood, your heart would beat along. The dragon feared to finish things that earth and sea unite. So deep within he hid the heart, its flow, new life, alight.
Can you pin that in that chat, Justin?
I can.
I will add it to my notes later on.
While it's not concrete, namely, children's verses, notorious for being both a mix of truth and exaggeration, it does continue to help confirm that the tale states kind of that this Storm Chaser's blood, the heart's blood, has a power that comes along with it. The last thing that gets uncovered shortly before you guys are able to leave is in ancient lore from a disorganized region known as Morris, which was kind of pre-Regesian unification. Only those who need the heart's power to save their life would be able to find the path. This is what the myths, the legends say. And even then, even if you could find the path, only those strong enough to endure could claim it.
So only someone who requires essentially the power of the heart or the power of the blood to heal themselves could find it.
To save their life is the terminology used.
Okay.
There's many claims throughout history about possible locations for where the heart would have been. None have been able to find it so far. At least none that have been recorded.
It was like the Indiana Jones, the last cup.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Holy Grail?
Yeah, Holy
the
Grail.
Holy Grail. Thank you.
The Holy
Thank you.
Grail.
Okay.
And that is what they are able to uncover in the 4 or 5 days that you've got them for before you, it's time for Simeon to stroll up, so to speak. I know
Gotcha.
that's not the last thing to be done before we leave, but I wanted to get all 3 of them out for you.
Okay, that's beautiful. Thank you. Okay. So I wanted to hire those students so that in our days here, I could spend all of my free time researching the ancient spellbook that we found in Castle Corstal.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just poring over that and trying to figure it out.
The first thing that I'll say about the ancient spellbook is it is indecipherable initially. And it's frustrating. But kind of looking at it, trying to identify it, trying to figure out what you can about it, you happen to have it out at a time when Winry strolls by. And Winry walks up, she's like, oh, that's written in Orin. And you're like, wait, what? It is? It's written in this language that is mostly disused. It's a language of the elementals, basically the wind elementals in this particular case. At least this part is. Not all of it is written out in it, but there are bits and pieces that are written in Orin. While Winry, you can only read parts here and there, it doesn't take long for Jack to put 2 and 2 together and realize that he has some other way of potentially reading these sorts of languages. And it never came up until now. But Jack, while you have Parallax drawn, you are able to speak decipher the languages of the elements. And so as long as you hold Parallax in your hand, this ancient spellbook is readable to you.
I'll turn the pages for you.
It's definitely pointing down against my leg, and I just have my hand on the handle, but sure.
So it's written in kind of a mixture of all the different elemental languages.
Slowly drop it down like, no.
In order to be able to actually understand the full thing of what it's saying, you need the ability to be able to read all of them. But it describes to you a different method of using magic, basically. I know we had many discussions about this on the side, and so I'm only going to go into very, very little detail here. But the basic gist is, in modern magic, there's 2 main uses. There are the forcers, which is like the sorcerers and the wizards, people who are forcing the weave to do what they want it to at any given time. They're kind of using sheer brawn, not strength, but you get what I mean. Willpower. The second group is more coercive. They're trying to incite the weave to do what they want it to kind of tease it into doing what it wants to do. This describes a third way of acting, basically. A way outside of standard or of modern magical theory. And in doing so, it describes a number of spells which are currently impossible to replicate without mastering this new method of magic first.
So that is very exciting. I'm going to spend a day or 2 kind of poring over it and like postulating and trying to understand what it really means. And then I'm going to take a couple breaks every now and then to go for a stroll to procure some other things that will come up later. And then return. So after spending a couple days on that, during the day, I imagine I still spend evenings with my friends and still spend it with Winry, etc. But during the day, during working hours, I'm in here. So after I've got it kind of like worked out a little bit, I want to take the book to Simeon and be like, Headmaster, I found very interesting things in this spell book that I got from Castle Corstal. It describes a really ancient kind of magic that I've never heard of before, and a different method for casting it. And I'll kind of just like run him through all the high points. And I'll be like, this is very, very interesting, theoretically, but I mean, obviously the interest is in using something like this, and it would take me years to relearn magic in this kind of method. But I don't know. Seems very promising and very exciting.
Certainly, I don't know quite what to say. It's outside of anything that I have instructors here to help you with, fortunately.
Well, like I said, I don't have the time to relearn magic, and then my eyes will kind of light up, and I'll be like, but I think I might know someone who can help, and I'll grab the book and run out, and I'll find somebody and be like, I'll try to find 3 weeping ravens.
He's certainly able to be found. The order kind of lives near Seaquen, kind of near where they were before, but they've hollowed themselves out, kind of a small cave that they dwell in now.
Gotcha.
But you're able to find him sometime when he's not talking to Bryn.
It was right after we had our
We pass each other. Bryn's on her way out, and I'm on her way in. I'm like, hey, how's it going?
I'm just connecting things.
What'd you talk to 3 weeping ravens about?
But
Oh, all right, cool.
Whoa.
Bryn, that is quite uncouth. So I'll find 3 weeping ravens. I'll say, you mentioned something about the temple that's in Isenglaed. I didn't pay it a ton of attention at the time because it was just interesting to have like a waypoint for us to teleport to. But you mentioned something about like it having the ability to like remake a person or remake their soul or something like that.
Correct. Yes, the temple was used as a way of reshaping your soul, yes. Some outsiders would seek to do so.
Outsiders, not your people?
Correct, yes.
Well, I show him the spell book and I'll say, I found this spell book in Castle Corstal, and it's taken me a while to decipher it, along with, some other additions. But I finally feel like I've made some progress on it, and it's really, really interesting. Arcane casters, like wizards and such, they really see the weave as like this amorphous power source that they can just draw from and do whatever they want with it. And then even myself, like showing my diviner, I tried to just manipulate the weave into doing what I wanted to. But this book kind of postulates this idea that it's not just a power source, but it's like everywhere in the weave are elements or are strings or ribbons of the different elements of fire and lightning and thunder and water and life and death and good and evil and all of this stuff. It's all there in the weave. And to access it, you don't need to force it. You just kind of open yourself up to it and then amplify that which you want to use. It's a totally different way of looking at magic. It's holistic, and it's very, there's a camaraderie almost between the weave and the caster in this way. And in using this method, you can achieve so much higher potential, but also treat the weave like it's an entity worth respecting. Kind of seeing magic, instead of seeing it as you want it to be, you see it as it is. It's very, very intriguing. The problem is I can't make anything out of it because I'm not an arcane caster like this. I would have to be completely different as far as my knowledge and understanding to be able to access something like this. And it strikes me as... Nope, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think I see where you're getting at here. And I do believe that the ability to reshape your soul could assist you in this. I should warn you, however, our order was driven from the temple, as I'd mentioned, by one of our own. It was a day of nightmares, so to speak. And so, while this possibility remains open to you, it may require some house cleaning, I guess we'll say. I will note also, your elemental postulation reminds me a great deal about our our significance of the corporeal and ethereal elements in the world. That the world is made of air, earth, fire, and water, death, life, space, and time. Feels very similar.
It does. It makes some kind of strange logic. I find myself very drawn to this idea. Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
I can't guarantee anything for you in terms of success. Know that those who were not able to contain it became lost within the temple. That only those who truly devote themselves and yearn for this change will succeed. Do not undertake this lightly. That is all.
I try to think of something like happy or nice to say, but I can't come up with anything, so I nod and make my way out of the cave.
Say a big thing.
I'll spend more time doing that, and then eventually there's one more major activity that I want to do, but do you want to do anything else before that?
Nope, go for it.
Okay.
Was that your big reveal, though?
No.
Oh.
It wasn't nothing. It's just
that
a conversation,
you're gonna
bro.
reshape your soul, bro?
No. So, one night, I am going to find where Winry is, and I'm going to have, taken a bath, get clean.
Oh, you said you're gonna walk in after the bath.
No. Gross. And
Just her
use
licking herself.
Yeah, that's true. And she's sitting in a dry bath, just licking herself. I'll use the cloak of many fashions to make myself look real spiffy, and I'll find Winry and I'll say, do you have anything going on this evening, Winry?
Hi, you look very nice.
Thank you.
You going out somewhere?
I was hoping that I would be joined by a beautiful lady and we might go have an evening together. That's you. I didn't segue very well, but I'm trying to say that's you and I'd like to spend the evening with you.
I would love that. Can you just give me a minute to get ready?
Can you just give me 45 minutes for me to give myself a bath? Of course. I will wait out here.
I don't have anything different to wear, but I have scarves, and I will tie a nice scarf in my hair.
If you want, I could be just sort of in the room and be helping you reshape your outfit, putting different scarves in different places,
so it looks different.
like kind of make it like a crop top where it's wrapped around, but then like one shoulder goes around the back. And
Fancy.
I'm trying to look for your picture so I can see how I can make it different.
Sorry,
Well,
just
you
sitting
do
there
that.
watching
And where did you learn how to do this?
Hey, you gotta improvise. You just work with what you got. Sometimes a baby's coming out of a goat, and you gotta use what's on hand to take it
I
out.
was gonna say, us at the farm, we got nothing
Amazing.
but potato sacks and hankies. You figure it out. Well, you get her looking cute.
Yeah.
I'll come back out. Where are we going?
Well, I'll offer her my arm and say, "Follow me or join me. We're gonna walk together, so you don't have to follow. Let's go."
Walk.
And I will lead us towards the docks where the Wayfarer ship is docked, and I will go up to the gangplank and kind of do like a, "Please, milady," up the gangplank.
On the ship?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've got something I want to show you. So,
I'll head up.
Justin and I talked about this, about how because they can't teleport anymore, the Wayfarers would have to make money somehow. So like during the week, they work as like a supply barge where they like go to different ports to bring supplies. And then on like the evenings and weekends and stuff, when they do a few shows for whoever in Seaquen hasn't seen one of their shows yet, then they clean up the space and then do their shows. So we go up on the deck of the Wayfarer ship, and there's like boxes and there's like sacks of wheat and rice and stuff, and it's just kind of, there's stuff. But you can see that there's a path that's been cleared that we can walk along that leads towards the theater where they perform. And we go in there, and you also see a bunch of boxes in there that's kind of like stacked up near where people would sit and like along the aisleway. But again, it's been cleared away and swept, and it's really, really clean in the area where we walk, at least. And on the stage, you see a bunch of essentially dancing light spells. So like a bunch of large, almost like lightning bugs all over the roof that are giving this like warm glow on the stage. And I'll lead us up to the stage, and I'll say, I've spent some time in here, and I know it's not as nice as the legendary Wayfarer ship that you and I always maybe dreamed about when we were kids, but it's still the Wayfarer ship, and we're still on the stage where the Wayfarers perform. So it's still pretty special. And I got some friends to help me out, and I indicate down in like the orchestra pit. There's like maybe 5 or 6 different like stringed instruments or something, and they're just floating there. And then there's like a big double bass off to the side that I imagine it's being held up by my Big B's hand. But I imagine that my Big B's hand looks like the master hand from Smash Brothers, so it's like a gloved hand, so it's fancy. And it's
Fancy
playing
hands.
the double bass with like just the one big hand is playing the double bass. And then I'll kind of like clap my hands, and suddenly all the instruments start playing together. I pull out my diviner and blow a little tune in that, and then a little bit more music plays. And I'm like, these are all my gills, my unseen servants. I spent a lot of time getting them ready so they could play instruments. And I thought that you haven't had a lot of experience with fancy dances, so I thought I would teach you how to do some fancy dances, like waltzes and other things.
I'll walk forward and just take like 2 minutes to look around and I'm just staring at everything. And then
Yeah.
I'll turn around and give you a jumping hug.
Which
Thank
I
you.
probably can't hold you up, so I'd probably crumple quite a bit. But I'll hug you back. I'll say, of course. And I figured...
When did you find the time to do this?
I don't need to sleep. I can say
You're
that.
very tired.
No, this is the best I've felt in a while.
Contrary to real life.
But I thought that if we ever got into a situation where we needed to show some fancy dances, it'd be really cool if we both knew them and could do them together.
Do you do a lot of fancy dances in court?
It's actually one of the parts that's fun about court. When we do balls, like, it's mostly just people standing around and scheming. But sometimes they do their scheming on a dance floor, and that's where the dancing happens, because it's the dance floor. And I really enjoyed that part. From the few balls that I didn't run out on, stop.
I did not do anything.
From the few balls that I didn't run out of, and actually went to, the dancing was very fun.
Well, I'm not really dressed for dancing, but I'll give it a go.
I think you're always dressed for dancing. Take that as you will. I'm not really sure what that means. But I mean it sincerely when I say it. So then I just strike up the band, and we start really simply with just like the 1-2 step or whatever. And then once we get that covered, then we start moving into like bigger like twirls and dips and things, and just kind of work our way up. I imagine though, I got experience doing it, and you are very agile and dexterous, and so I think you pick it up pretty quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is totally one of those situations I can imagine where you're like, let me teach you something, Winry, and then Winry just all of a sudden like starts doing it like even better.
Yeah,
it's like with the stealth thing with Rev, and like with the it's like
he's just good at everything.
Don't worry,
Yeah.
it'll come up when they
got
got impersonated in court.
What?
It'll come up when you two have to do this in court, and then she's
Right,
suddenly
yeah.
way better
Right.
than you.
Performance checks. Winry rolls a 37.
I'm still letting
Still have to roll a disadvantage.
lead. Like, I'm not trying to take it over from.
Probably eventually you start like flexing on it and like showing me some stuff. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. So anyway, we do that for a while, and then I imagine like the logistics of spellcasting, eventually the instruments stop playing, and I'm like, well, I could take an hour to get those going again, or just as like the music's kind of finishing, I'm like, okay. And then to get crowds like really worked up, you got to go for a deep dip, and that's like the finisher when the song ends. It's very special and very cool. So like as the music's coming down, I'll like twirl her, and then we'll go down for a dip that I imagine she is mostly using her core for, because I don't know if I can lift her up. And while we're down the dip, I'll plan up.
You hear that? Her tail is like
her tail goes down, and like it's like a wedge. Well, when that happens, we'll go down and give her a big old nasty smooch. And then come back up, and I'll say, thanks for spending this time with me.
Thank you for putting it all together. I'm surprised you said that your relationships haven't worked out, and if you put this much thought and caring into them, I don't understand why not.
I've never put this much thought and care into it before. Didn't seem worth it before. That's a good line. Didn't seem worth it.
You're gonna make
before.
Becca cry.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Do you mind if we sit down and talk?
Sure. I'll sit down real quick and I'll do it.
We're getting out of Seaquen right tonight, guys.
Right?
I've seen Rob for
I know what's gonna
hours.
happen.
I'm just
Over the
over
weekend.
here eating my chocolate, sipping my beer. You know, I'm just.
Yep.
I'm just.
I wish I had
you know,
chocolate.
watching
Watching the
the show.
We can sit down, but then I'll real quick I'll do one more, maybe casting a Bigby's hand, and he's playing like an acoustic guitar this time. It's just like strumming a little tune while we chat.
I noticed that you went to talk to Simeon, and I was wondering if it happened to be about Parallax. Did he say anything interesting?
What time are you referring to? This most recent time?
The first time. No, the first time we were talking to him, and then we left, and you stayed back.
Oh, shit. What did I talk to him about then?
It doesn't really matter.
Why he gave you the sword?
I feel like she's
Sure.
got to point to this.
Yes, I did. We did speak about Parallax.
You've been sharing more with us about what he's been saying to you, and I have this theory that I've been thinking about, and I was wondering if it was you had thought about it. When we first met, you were so afraid of fighting and hurting people that you were literally ill over it. And now that you have Parallax fighting with you, it seems to be easier for you. And I'm wondering if you're using him as a way of dealing with it. It's not Jack killing these people, it's Parallax killing them. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing, I'm wondering if it's just a coping mechanism. And I feel like I'm really ruining our date here because this isn't romantic or special at all.
Let's serious this up real good.
It's just something that I wanted to talk to you about before.
Well, to be fair, the guitar's playing like Dashboard Confessional, so it's a little bit emo anyway, so.
It's deep.
I don't believe that I am using it as a coping mechanism. I feel like I've had this conversation a couple times recently, but I think that I used to see the world and people as I wanted to see them. Like I wanted to see the world as this like kind and loving and merciful place where people didn't really want to fight. They just didn't understand each other. And so if they just understood each other, maybe they'd stop. And I thought that logic and discourse and arguments would have a much bigger place in the world. And then I got out on it, and it's not that way at all. For better or worse, the world is a place of passion and anger, and it's really complicated. And I figured it out pretty quick. Do you remember Balin?
Yeah.
Dropping a little Spanish guitarist there, Justin?
That's why I thought you gave me a cue, so I had to find something for you.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but when we were traveling to Bresk, I talked to Balin a lot, and I thought he was so interesting and so smart, and I learned a lot about diplomacy from him. And all he wanted to do was help people, use his words and connect with other people. And his reward for that was to be tortured to death. I think I'm just finally seeing the world for what it really is, and understanding that if I really want to make a difference, it takes more than just fancy words and big dreams.
Not everyone wants to talk.
Yeah, not everyone wants to talk.
Well, Jack, I really enjoyed talking. And I got you a present.
Oh, that was nice of you.
Huh? I will give him something wrapped in a yellow scarf. And if you unwrap it, it is a harmonica. A silver harmonica.
It's one of the best segues that could have actually ever happened in how you discussed this.
Right? Yeah. You know how you were talking about Fallon? I found this harmonica in the prison, in Brest. It was from Bryn's harmonica. And I took it on our way out. I changed it a little bit, cleaned it up, and now it has I engraved it. It is cat ears and whiskers. I'll send you a picture.
There's a picture?
And then it has a leather cord attached to it. I turned it to a necklace. And then I will pull out of my shirt another leather cord, and attached to it is a silver bell. And then I'll show you on it is engraved tiny elf ear. Jack, hold the harmonica in your hand.
Okay.
And then I will do some hand motions and speak a word that you've seen Bryn do before. And then in your head, you'll hear, did it work?
So you said it with your mouth also? I think what you were trying to do
No,
is
just-
telepathically?
Just my
Oh,
head.
I just heard it in my head.
You
Oh,
heard it.
wow.
Yep.
Wow. This is weird. How far into my thoughts can you get?
Just what you want me to hear.
Okay.
Go.
I instantly started thinking about like religious things.
So, just so we're clear here, what she has done is created effectively 2 linked sending stones in items, but they are at will sending stones.
Walkie-talkie.
Wow.
Dang.
Holy shit.
She spent
Just
some money
between the
on
2
you.
of them, but still.
Wow.
Oh.
I mean, that
Hey.
tracks because he's always way back and she's always checking out.
Yeah, so I'm always, hey, Winry, are you okay?
Cedric?
This is so thoughtful. And now it's like we can be together all the time.
Well, you remember how I said when I was in the prison, I was so upset because I couldn't speak to you? And Rev kept getting messages from Bryn in his head, and I was jealous and frustrated because I couldn't do the same thing. So now I don't have to worry about that anymore. And this might seem probably a really like stalkerish present to give someone, so I hope you don't take it that way. And I know we've only been dating
Did you
for
say
literally
stalkerish?
one day.
Oh, it's okay. If we ever break up, I can just throw it away. Well, that probably wasn't the right thing to say.
Yeah, then mine won't work. That'll work. Yeah.
Well, I think this is very thoughtful and very sweet, and I'm going to use it all the time. You might throw yours away because I might irritate you.
I can't wait.
I imagine there's a smooch in there somewhere else, but that's the date.
So sweet.
So sweet.
I really
So
felt
the ear,
like
the
third
ear is on
wheel.
the bell.
Yeah, and hers and the kitty cat sign.
I
Wow.
love it.
while you two were
That is
designing
adorable.
these items and date nights for each other. I get to participate on both sides of that, very small amounts.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I spent a
With,
while planning that one.
With the date night finished, so to speak, and I think everyone checked in, every item bought that needed to be bought. We only have one last item of business to take care of, and that is, with 5 more days having spent in Seaquen, we have the opportunity to roll for feats one more time before we move on. If you are one of the 2 people who finished something and don't have an active feat right now, and you want to just store a number for the time being, that's fine, and we can come back to what it is afterwards.
Nope, I know what I'm doing.
Okay.
Oh. Which of you are not going to betray me?
Can I not roll and just say that I get the proficiency to play the harmonica?
Sure, I'm good with that.
All right, that's what I'll do.
You're cute.
Hopefully it actually works.
Do we
It's like
do we have to live for like
Crushed.
those
a dead
those
finger
few
flies
couple
out of it.
days?
Like, oh no!
And it's
Just
really
a
hot.
nice note on the harmonica.
We have to live for a
Right.
couple days of live through a couple days of Jack playing the harmonica
yeah.
really, really poorly.
He just,
Oh,
yeah, he
no.
just plays it like, shoot, which one of the 2 was it? Bert?
James.
James. Just playing
Like
the
James,
highest note
yeah, just
possible
playing the
over
highest
and over
note.
again. Do, 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 do.
All 3 of them. So Kaylee's at great grandma's, and all 3 of them brought their harmonicas upstairs. I'm like, when did you think the rules changed? Go back downstairs with those.
Well, if everyone would like to, we can go ahead and roll for feats once more here. So, Bryn, I know yours is dex based. So is
We have a
Myetharia's.
proficiency bonus. Not like that helps, but
8.
That's
Oh, that
sad,
stinks.
sad face from Bryn.
Should have had you roll for it.
Rev, I know you have something that you're working on, or could work on, or you could take up something different, or you could start a new project, whichever you'd like to do.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide.
Well, like I said to the others while you were taking a moment there, if you want to, you can just roll the dice for the time being and then decide what you want it to go to later on. We don't have to decide this second.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
12 for Myetharia.
All right, 14.
14 for you flat.
Yeah. Yeah, what am I working on?
You were
Jealous of you guys
considering
above
trying
10.
to.
I know. I was
Yeah.
considering getting in shape, but I feel like that's not what he's doing right. That's not what I'm doing right now.
Well, we can talk
Jack
Gonna
about it
start working out
afterwards.
after drinking all week.
Yeah, I feel like instead he's drinking,
Big
playing
pull-ups.
darts, getting a tattoo that makes him like twitchy. But he's not necessarily in shape.
How?
He's still like muscular. He's like still like he's a
And your calf is really much.
We'll work.
Yep.
Well, I mean-
Super muscular calves.
To be fair, I still think that Rev and Myetharia are sparring together because Myetharia's feat specifically
Oh yeah.
is is learning from one of your skills. So she would ask to spar with you a few times.
Okay.
At least
That's good.
while we're in town.
Cool. Well, actually, I mean, okay, yeah. So we'll do that. That's great.
I guess technically mine is working with the two of you to figure out how
Your
to move
shield.
with my shield better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Winry, what are you working on?
Lip reading.
Right, that's right.
Oh, you
Dirty.
would. Oh my gosh.
I don't know what that would be though. Wisdom?
Little did we know that Winry this whole time is trained to be a super spy.
Yeah.
Working on it.
The super snoop.
I would say, yeah, wisdom. It's perception based.
You stop rolling? 18.
18?
Oh,
Wow.
it's like you stabbed me in the heart on purpose. I got an 8 with you.
Oh.
Oh no, wait. I got an 18.
18.
18. Suck it, Steph.
18.
So this takes us into the next month, actually. Wow, look at that.
Woo.
Damn.
We were from the
Oh.
28th onward
Really?
into the next month. I'll have to figure out exactly what date it is.
Basically into
But-
May in our
Just
version
because
of
I don't
May.
want to. Sorry. Just because I don't want to drop it on everybody when we get there. Some evening when we're all together, I'll get everyone together and say, I think the plan was for us to teleport to the temple in Isenglaed. But, well, I get out the spell book and I show it to you guys. And I'm like flipping pages and I'm talking about it. And I'm like, this spell book has some really powerful magic that I might be able to use. Crazy stuff like there's this and this and this and like light control of time. Like it's pretty crazy. But I think the only way I can access it is through use of the temple. And Three Weeping Ravens made it sound like there might be some bad stuff in there. So I may need backup. So if I just tell you guys that this is really important to me, is it okay if you guys back me up?
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, at that, Simeon, kind of coming up to the group with Sheena, says, well, there are two options for you, and kind of gestures to Sheena. Says,
Justin, you got to change the song, man. It's
I'll change it now.
It's such the wrong vibe. It's throwing me off.
Got two options for you. As you said, using or with some help from Three Weeping Ravens, I'm sure that we could get a location for the temple, or at least something similar, to be able to get you as close to there as possible. Otherwise, the closest I've been is a elven village near the mouth of the Nindan River, which is one of the 5 major rivers up there in Isenglaed. So we get you closer to the forest and potentially your quarries, but may or may not be where you want to be initially. I'll leave it up to you which you'd prefer. Go after your
Can you
quarry
point-
first or the target first.
Potentially point on the map where that might be.
They're
Ish.
sure. So we're talking up here.
Yeah, that's where the
Northern
monastery is,
Shahalesti.
right?
The
Yeah.
the monastery is up near the edge of one of the rivers, and basically she's saying the nearest that she's been is kind of the furthest north, I think it is. I have to check to make sure. Yes, the furthest north river. The temple is on one of the more middle rivers, so to speak, of the 5.
Well, like I said, I think there's something important at the temple that I need to do. So, if you guys are okay with it, I think that's where I'd like us to aim.
The temple is a fine place to aim.
You got something? Okay. Objections?
Nope.
We would like to go to the temple, please. Miss Larkins?
I can do that. And so she spends the next little bit of time talking with 3 Weeping Ravens, getting as much of a description and a location as he can give her for this temple. And when she is ready, Simeon hands each of you guys a potion of fire resistance. This is the best I can offer you. I do know also Sheena's been working on this, and she has been able to lessen the damage that you receive. Sheena, if you would. We've been able to learn, actually, that the damage is lessened at night. More so during the day. So, we're able to go during the night, and I'm able to shelter you to the best of my ability with the potions. I think we should be able to make it a relatively manageable amount of pain this time.
Last time we needed Death Ward, right? Or something like that.
We did. We should be able to make this much more manageable for you this time.
Hold up a minute. I think I have that now.
Well, I think what she's saying is we don't need it now.
Who's got the least health, though? I can. This is just,
I mean, it's definitely me, but
just in case.
It might be Rev, honestly, because he's a halfling.
Yeah. I'm 71 HP.
HP.
I broke 100.
Oh, I'm 94. I forgot I put a lot into con.
Hey, twinsies!
Oh, cute.
You and Jack, or you broke 100?
Jack. Oh. Elven twinsies.
Well, getting what preparation you would like to.
I make sure that my dragon armor is on.
Ooh, you gotta
Drinking
wear
your
that,
potions of fire resistance, standing close to Sheena as she waits until midnight. They came up to you in the evening.
Oh, I should say this real quick for continuity. I go back and talk to Simeon after I talk to 3 Weeping Ravens. I feel like it might be important to say.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, I'll cast Death Ward on Rev.
Sure. As a safety precaution, there's a death ward on Rev.
Aww.
And the lot of you gather up with Sheena.
I hold Winry's hand.
And as the world winks out...
stand there.
I put my armor on Myetharia too.
As the world winks out in a rush of flames on all sides, that is where we will end tonight's session, and we will find out where and what happens next.